today, and we might actually move the time of the show next week. We'll have to figure this out. It's just I'm trying to find the right time for this show, and to see what works best for most people. And of course, by most people, I mean the people that watch the show. And I think sometimes getting the show out there is the most important part. So earlier might be better. We'll just figure it out, and what we always do. The show has been on at multiple different times. We've done it anywhere between 9:30 and 11:30. So. It can go at any of those, but it's just also my demands have changed for me. I seem to have a lot more meetings as we have more stuff going on, and you guys will start to see why that is in the near future. But you're starting to see it with the betting tools, but we have a lot more stuff than that coming on, a lot more. But anyways, we had game one of the NBA Eastern Conference Finals in the books. It was the Celtics in the first half, and I don't know how much of it was the Heat, absolutely just dominating them the way it looked on the floor, and just kind of, the Celtics legs, kind of like what we talked a little bit about yesterday. They look tired, and the tired legs, the shots stopped falling, and they had just gone through a 7-game war. The Heat were sitting around in the jacuzzi listening to tunes. It's like. It is what it is. It's like these guys are professional athletes, but there's something to be said about these physical series and getting just a little bit of rest. And, the Heat, have been looking ahead. They've been watching the Celtics on TV. They kind of knew what to expect, and they kind of took their best shot early and bounced right back. And also the total on that game, I just thought that under was so square. It wasn't fair. Chris, thoughts on yesterday's NBA game?
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, there was just a lid on the bucket for the Celtics in the third quarter. They came out hot in the first half, and then just were able to match up with the Heat. But it just seemed like they just ran out of gas, like they just had that early spurt, and then the shots just weren't falling. And that was where the Heat, having that huge rest advantage, was able to come into effect. They just were able to sustain the momentum and keep everything going into the fourth. Celtics made it a little bit interesting with outscoring the Heat in the fourth, but it wasn't nearly enough to get themselves back into that game.
Brian, any thoughts on that one? Do you think it was just the Celtics just tired, and they're not going to get a chance to catch them any wind going forward, and that might be a little bit of a problem?
I don't know how close the game time, but when I saw Horford and Marcus Smart weren't playing, I saw the line go to 4.5. I was worried about it. And then at halftime, I felt confident, but I think the Celtics came out too confident. Miami had a good game plan for the second half or the third quarter, and I just think they executed. I don't know if it was Boston with tired legs more. It was just good coaching and overconfidence by Boston at halftime. That's my take on it.
Well, we had, we'll have plenty more of this series and, to come. We also had the NBA draft lottery last night, and it was the Orlando Magic getting the number 1 overall pick. The last time they had the number 1 overall pick, it was Chris Webber?
It was a Shaq?
No, I think Shaq came after Webber. I mean, Shaq came before Webber, and it might have been.
No, Shaq was 94. I think Webber was 91, wasn't he?
All right, so Shaq, and then there was also Penny Hardaway was another number 1 that they had too. So they've done well with the number 1 pick. I mean, those are the guys that we're talking about here. They've done pretty well with it in the past. It's been a long time. The Houston Rockets, third pick. This is a super deep draft. I think even the number 1 pick is a tough call. Last year, I thought it was pretty cut and dry that it was Cade Cunningham. This year, I think it's a little bit tougher, especially with with some of the guys staying. Tshiebwe staying at Kentucky kind of changes things, right? Because I think he was the best player this season, and Holmgren, I'm less than convinced. He needs some meat on the bone for me. And, oh boy, the guy, Jabari Smith from Auburn, I don't love the way he played in that Miami game. You know, he's smooth, and I think with the help on the right team, he has a chance. You know, I mean, he's awesome, right?
Yeah, I think if Sheboy stayed in the draft, he would have been close to actually another first overall pick for the Magic in '04, Dwight Howard. But I'm with you. I think a gust of wind will blow Chet Holmgren into the second row, and he needs to bulk up. But it's
Chris, maybe you should give him a call. Maybe spend a month together. Or,
just trade off.
Oklahoma City Thunder got a couple of picks in there. Brian, what'd you think of this?
Oh, the NBA draft. Oh boy, I really haven't even had a chance to look at the projected first rounders here. I just because the Sixers aren't even involved, don't even have a draft pick, so I was really uninterested in the prospects coming out.
It was
100% honest.
I thought it was pretty interesting the way that it all panned out, you know. And it's like the teams that need the help obviously are going to get the help, and I think that to me is the most important thing. The projected first round is Jabari Smith to the Magic, Chet Holmgren to the Thunder, Banchero to the Rockets, Sharp to the Kings, and Keegan Murray to the Pistons, which just shows you how deep this draft is, because all of those guys are number one quality, right? So
I like Sharp, but he might be my favorite player out of the gate. So,
there's
gotta like him.
There's definitely a bunch of other players out there. You know, the Kings, of course, will be drafting up there. You know, at 4, so you know they're bound to make a mistake. We've seen it in the past as well. Anyways, we go to the NHL, and Chris, the Panthers just came out flat against the Lightning, and then the other game was competitive. To be honest, I couldn't even tell you who won. It was 2-2.
Colorado took it in overtime.
They were a gigantic favorite, right? So so if you laid the puck line with Colorado, you lost, right?
Yeah.
So
that the St. Louis Blues, I think, were where all the value was in that game, and I think there's going to be value on the Blues in the series. I put a couple bets on the Blues to win the series and to win it 4-2. I think they can steal home ice back in one of the first 2 games of the series and hold serve at home. So
I gotta say, I was shocked at how bad Florida played. I mean, 4-1 on your home ice against your rival in state.
It was once again horrible scenario that they were dealt. Horrid, unfair.
I mean, I never lay heavy juice like that, but I was just sure that Florida would win that game.
Unfair. The scheduling of the game, unfair. You know, I'm not going to blame it on the scheduling. I'm not going to say anything about it. Whatever. I mean, I don't know anything about hockey, but I do know that if you have an NBA team in the Eastern Conference Finals and you have an NHL team in the playoffs, to schedule their games against each other in the same city on the same night is unfair and not right, and is bad for sports. It's a crappy thing to do, and that is what happened. The Heat are home against the Celtics. The Panthers are home against the Lightning. The games are at the same time in the same city.
An hour.
And it's
like an hour drive.
Less than an hour. We're talking, you know, a half hour, 20 minutes. It's terrible. Terrible. Anyways, Chris, let's start. We're going to change the order of the way that we do the show. We're going to do NHL first and NBA last. We're going to invert this. Chris, tonight in the NHL, we've got 2 games once again, I believe.
Yeah.
Trying to find them. As you can see, I always have NHL just really prioritized on my board.
You got Rangers, Carolina, and you got Edmonton, Calgary.
Well, let's look at the Rangers, Carolina first. Chris, what do you think of this one?
Yeah, I really like the value that you're getting with the New York Rangers here. Plus 150, not something I'm looking to really pass up. I mean, I know Igor Shesterkin had his moments against the Pittsburgh Penguins where he kind of looked lackluster in goal. But this is still a Carolina team that is dealing with their backup in net and potentially a third string goalie if Antti Ranta gets hurt. And the New York Rangers are just a healthier team. They've got all the momentum after rallying from 3-1 down to win their series against the Pittsburgh Penguins. And it's not like the Carolina Hurricanes had much of a rest advantage either. They were just in a 7-game war with the Boston Bruins themselves. So I really like the value in that spot with the New York Rangers. I think the New York Rangers could pull off the upset here in the entire series as well. But for game one, I look for the Rangers to steal home ice with a win here.
Yeah, I'm not saying Tampa Bay didn't win fair and square. I'm not saying any of that. As a matter of fact, I haven't seen NHL all season, right? I mean, I've watched portions of games here and there, but very, very few of those. I've watched less than a combined 20 minutes of NHL hockey in the last, I don't know, since the Blackhawks won the Cup. So that's really how little involved I am in hockey. But the thing is that scheduling 2 playoff games in the same city on the same night is not at the same time is unfair. It's like if it's one thing if one is a 3:30 in the afternoon game and the other one's a 7:30 at night game, that's different. Scheduling 2 games in the same city, which isn't generally a great sports city, to be honest with you, as far as fan support goes, unfair. It diminishes the body of work over the entire season that both these teams have done. It is what it does. It diminishes the entire body of work. And the NHL had options. They had options. They knew this was the schedule. They knew the NBA had the schedule out first. They knew this was the schedule. They knew the Heat were in. The Heat were in before the Panthers. Anyways, Brian, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree 100% with what Chris just said. And I know we're just going one game at a time, but I feel like if you put an equal bet on the Rangers and the Edmonton Oilers tonight, you're going to come away at the very least in the positive. Rangers, excellent chance, like Chris said, to knock Carolina off in the series. And the Oilers have struggled against Calgary. The home team's dominated, I believe, that series recently. But I think the Oilers have a good shot tonight to knock off Calgary in game one. I didn't mean to jump ahead, but I believe equal bets on Oilers and Rangers will produce a profit tonight.
Chris, we move to game 2. The Oilers taking on the taking on the Calgary Flames. This one's, these two teams do not like each other, and this one taking place at the Saddle Dome should be a crazy environment. These fans, they haven't had a winner in a long time, right? I mean, when's the last time they had a winner? When Patrick Roy was fighting in the middle of the ice against whoever the Flames goalie was that year. I mean, that's one of my most vivid hockey memories was that they played Montreal, right? That series, it was Montreal, Calgary, and there was just one of the biggest after the game fights you'll ever see. It was just, it was after the game, right? It was crazy.
Yeah.
Gear was everywhere. Gotta love the hockey fight where gear is just all over the place.
The line brawl.
Yeah.
Where everything's just flying. No, I think Calgary had a cup run in 2004, I believe. But it's been a while for both these fan bases. But I was leaning towards Calgary at home only because, like Brian said, the home team has won the last 5 meetings. That was really the only edge I could find for game 1 here because I think you could make a case across the board for both the over and the under. Both teams were just involved in 7-game wars, and the over could be the case because these two teams like to hurt each other on the scoreboard, and there is value with Edmonton. But I think just for game 1, I would lean towards Calgary. This is sort of a series that I kind of want to see how the first game or two goes before really investing a lot more in it down the road.
Brian?
Yeah, like I said previously, I really think the Oilers have a good puncher's chance in this one. It might not have played out like that recently, where the home team has dominated. But I think tonight the Oilers, coming off that nice series win, even though it was against a Kings team that you thought they would have blown out, I think they carry some momentum and steal game 1 from Calgary.
All right. Well, we go to our premium pick promotion. Chris, What are you selling?
Well, today I got a couple things on the board. I got my NBA best bet. I got that for $29.95 for the Warriors and Mavericks game tonight. Or got my super rare walk off Wednesday 5-pack 5 MLB plays that I love for today's action. I love today's card. Got that for $49.95 at the website. And we always talk about the long term packages. You see the code in the top right corner of the feed here. You can use that and pair any of us up and get some great cappers for a long term pass.
Brian?
Off a 2 and 3 day yesterday. Tuesday's turned into a Friday for some reason for me recently. But I got my Wednesday night money shot 3-pack. It includes my NBA best bet along with 2 Major League Baseball plays. Absolutely love today. Get all 3 for $40 at pickdogs.com premium picks.
So far, I only have my $15 big play up for today. I'll have more picks in after the show is over. Last night, smashed our big play again. The big play is on a heater right now. Had a little bit of a cold stretch. I had a few ninth inning losses of those big plays. I got Melanson twice in 3 games. 2 out of 3 games, I got Mark Melanson gave up the lead up for me for the Diamondbacks. Lost both of those, but now we are back in the fold, hitting with the Houston Astros, making it back-to-back winners with the $15 big play. 5 home runs in 1 inning. It was one of those no doubter.
I couldn't believe it.
Oh, I believed it.
I looked at the score,
I believe
it was like 10-0 in the first inning or whatever the hell it was.
Well, the thing is, you have a game that you have one team that's 10 games under 500, and you have the other team that's 10 games over 500, and they had lost the night before. It's kind of all probability says that the team 10 games over is more likely to win that game. Especially I think that what was the betting tools say about it? The betting tools had like whatever it was for the Astros, it was 14 in a row. Whatever the streak was there, the major streak going into that game, it was 14 in a row for the Astros. Whatever it was, I can't remember what the streak was, but it was a big hit. Anyways, it was my big play, and I loved it. The Astros. Oh, the Red Sox haven't won in the favorite role in a month. That's it. Anyways.
Yeah, it was a -110 Red Sox, and to me, it just looks crazy odd that a team that's 10 games below 500. I believe they're 10 games around.
How about when the Red Sox took the lead in that game? 1-0. Remember that part?
I didn't see that part. When I looked at it,
Devers home run.
10, so. They
hit a home run. And then it was like, man, that ball went out of the park pretty easy. And it was like, oh, man. Nathan Eovaldi just looked lost. And then they leave him in there. Oh, man.
What happens today? Today's what, game 3? Oh, let's see.
One game is 10 games. One team's 10 games over 500. The other 10 games.
It's a new day every day as far as betting goes.
Well, one team is better. The other team is not better.
That's not how. You don't just pick a team because they're better. That's just not how it works.
I would definitely rather have the worst team.
But you know how I work. I've jumped off the Angels bandwagon, and now they're zooming up first place. So
it's all it takes, Brian, is you to jump off the bandwagon.
I'm off the bandwagon.
Speaking of bandwagons, let's talk Brewers Braves here, and Rays Tigers, and the Rockies against the Giants. Ron's rundown play was the Tampa Bay Rays yesterday on the run line. Easy winner. I kind of thought the Tigers were going to hang in there. They did not do it. But, Brian, what do you think of these?
Well, I heard Rays Tigers, but I couldn't hear what the other one that you said.
Brewers, Braves, Rockies, Giants.
All right. Yesterday, I liked the Rays on the alternate run line, but today I'm going to take the Tigers on the run line. Rodriguez, I think, has looked pretty confident over his last 2 starts, and Drew Rasmussen has had strong performance pretty much all year, but I think the Tigers bounced back from yesterday's debacle. And the Milwaukee Brewers, I just think Corbin Burns, that price is very high, but he's been maybe the best pitcher in the National League. And Max Fried, slow starter, has looked okay, but I just think for this price, I'm going to go with the Brewers here. I think they get the W against the Braves, paying back for yesterday's loss.
Chris? Burns on the cheap.
Yeah, and I think it might be for a bit of a reason here. I'm not going against the Brewers here, but I think I like that under 6.5. I know it is a very, very low total, but these two teams just met with these two hurlers on the mound around a week and a half ago, and it finished 3-2 in favor of the Braves. I do think the Brewers will want some revenge here, but I'm expecting another pitcher's duel in this one, so I like the under 6.5 in that one. The Tampa Bay Rays. Yeah, I was leaning towards Tampa Bay on the run line, but I do see Rodriguez is pitching a little bit better as of late, so probably a stay off spot for me. And the Giants, I like the Giants to continue their dominance of the Rockies. I like Logan Webb a lot more when he's at home. That doesn't change the fact that he is the ace of this Giants rotation, and Kyle Freeland just hasn't been pitching all that well, especially at home. So give me the San Francisco Giants on the money line there.
Yeah, the Giants have beaten the Rockies 17 years in a row, and the Rockies really, really struggling against the Giants. And I don't know, use the word hurler there. There's a versatile word for you. I've heard it used in a variety of different ways. You're like at a party. Oh yeah, you don't want to invite him. He's a hurler, and then you have the pitcher hurler. Right? Anyways, I think that I think Burns is the bet here for the Brewers. I just do over the Braves, who fought the good fight yesterday. I do think that Rodriguez against Rasmussen is a good matchup here for the Tigers. It's just hard to get there because the Rays are so much of a better team. So it makes it difficult. And then, of course, the Giants-Rockies, it's just a matter of finding the number to bet. And actually 160, at this point, looks like a bargain if you can get in that range. We go to Oakland, where the A's, coming off of a win against the Minnesota Twins, getting it done late. Got the Dodgers against the Diamondbacks, and the Guardians up against the Reds. I don't think I'm ever going to get that right. I'm doing worse with this than I did with Washington. Chris, what do you think?
I'm doing much better. Doing better with Guardians than I did with Washington.
Chris, what do you think of these? Yeah, you were horrible with Washington, that's for sure.
I'm going to go with the Minnesota Twins. I'm not a Sonny Gray fan by any stretch of the imagination, but Oakland just not doing it for me offensively. Whenever I seem to back them, they seem to really fall apart, and I think it's going to happen even when I'm on the other side here. So I'm going to take the Minnesota Twins there. I like the Dodgers -2.5. I just think Zach Davies is going to get pummeled, and Walker Buehler's pretty much owned the Diamondbacks in his career. A .61 ERA and a 4-0 record going back to the beginning of last season against the Diamondbacks, and I think the Diamondbacks could struggle here. And I like the over 8 between the Reds and Guardians. Tyler Mahle, he's a lot better when you take him out of Great American Ballpark, but it doesn't change the fact that I think he's getting teed off on. And this Cleveland Guardians team can hit. I expect Cal Quantrill to give up a few as well, so I like that game to finish closer to 9 or 10 runs.
Brian?
Yeah, I've been getting pretty lucky on alternate run lines. I'm going to call me a super square today. I'm going to take the Dodgers -2.5 here. I like Walker Buehler, and Zach Davies might be the biggest weak link on the Arizona Diamondbacks next to Castellanos. Is that the pitcher's name? I forget. But
Humberto Castellanos.
Humberto Castellanos. That's their other weak link. I like Walker Buehler today. I think the Dodgers.
Melanson is the weak link in the Diamondbacks.
Well,
Trust me on that.
Bullpen.
Trust me on that.
So I'll take the -2.5. Then Oakland A's and Twins. I saw Gray over his last 2 starts. Basically goes 4 innings. And you saw Jeffries bounce back and finally have a good start after a rough stretch. I think the A's take 2 in a row here. You get nice plus money. I just don't think Sonny Gray goes very long for the Twins.
No. I think you guys haven't been watching Zach Davies this season. He's been sensational. And I think that maybe Ruffalo was force-feeding Chet Holmgren that second slice of lasagna while Davies has been pitching. But I got to say that he's been really good. It's the best Zach Davies I've ever seen. He's in full control. He's large and in charge out there on the mound. And I'll tell you what, Diamondbacks first 5 plus a half a run is the bet in that game. If you can get the Diamondbacks plus a half a run in the first 5, it is straight money in this one because they're not going to hit Davies. It's not going to happen.
What makes you think that?
Because I've been watching him all season, and he
gave out 3 runs over his 5. I'm not. This is the best you've seen.
The bullpen got him. The bullpen allowed the guys to score. No. You haven't been watching him. This is the best of Zach Davies. This is kind of like the Martin Perez revolution. The dead ball era and Zach Davies go together like peanut butter and jelly, like chocolate and peanut butter, like Ruffalo and donuts. It's all just one happy family. I'm telling you, Zach Davies, way underestimated here. Gigantic value against a way overrated Dodgers team that we saw go into Pittsburgh and get their asses kicked. There, I said it. I feel better about myself.
When do I take the Dodgers? Never.
Yeah, they went into Pittsburgh and got slaughtered. Just less than a week ago, right? Then at home, dominated by a lousy Phillies team, who came into Dodger Stadium several games under 500. I don't know. Davies is... I'm going to get a Zach Davies shirt.
I'll send you one.
He's been phenomenal. Nothing to run. And Walker Buehler, as Romanelli once told me, one of the most overrated pitchers in the history of baseball.
I don't know about that.
Absolutely. This guy is so overrated. He's like Zach Wheeler. It's like ridiculous.
Was that?
Sonny Gray. So here's the deal on Sonny Gray. Here's the book on Sonny Gray. He allows less than 3 runs in like 90% of his starts plus. So you got to score more than 3 runs. I mean, you have to have a pitcher that's going to allow less than that to beat him.
But he hasn't gone deep.
I don't think Dalton Jeffries is that guy. I know Dalton Jeffries. I bet on Dalton Jeffries. I picked him. I've been on both sides of it. No. The A's stringing together wins. No. No. Bad day. And the Reds, easy winners yesterday. No reason why they can't do it again. I bet against the Dodgers every single game. I'm cash machine here. They've hit 60. The Dodgers have won 66% of their games and have lost their bettors money. It's a great bet. You bet against the Dodgers every single game. This one we're getting plus. You can get plus 250, plus 260 on your money here. Basically 3 wins worth. And for the Dodgers, minus 290. If you bet $10, you win $3. Congratulations. You go to Starbucks, there goes your whole bankroll. It's crazy. It doesn't even make any sense.
Usually fade the Dodgers. I just can't do it today.
I usually fade Bittler, and I can do it today. The thing is that the Dodgers they're a terrible betting team. They're a terrible bet. They're the worst.
I think they broke the seal last night.
Broke the seal?
No, they kicked the crap out of them in Game 2. Arizona got the cover in Game 1 against the Dodgers. Then Game 2, I thought Game 2 was going to be the one that they were more competitive in.
Oh, you thought wrong. You also had the Red Sox. I mean, it really doesn't matter,
Yeah, but I had the Texas Rangers. They got it done against Angels, and I had Cincinnati Reds. They got it done.
I had the Heat and the over.
I had winners and losers yesterday.
And I said take the Heat alternate, right, as well. It's like they're gonna kill them.
I'm beginning to hate the Heat.
Well, you've hated the Heat all season. You've hated them for years. You've never liked the Heat. And
I've liked the Heat
sometimes. And last night you got woodshedded. I mean,
I did. I thought I was feeling confident at halftime.
How square were you feeling with that under? How square did you feel with that under at the end of the third quarter? Did you just feel like it's kind of like this is the square feeling, like what I equivocate as the square feeling when you walk into the Westgate Superbook on a Saturday in about the third quarter or so of a Texas game. It's like you could just feel the squareness in the room as the tickets are being dropped on the floor.
It was more the Celtics going down that really hurt me yesterday. The total, I'm not good.
Jimmy Buckets, just large and in charge, just took over the game. His points, rebounds, and assists, I gave this out on my 7 free picks in just 5 minutes. It took me a little over 5 minutes yesterday, but it was 7 free picks, and we call it that. It was 36.5 was his points, rebounds, and assists. It was 36.5 was the prop on that for yesterday. Embarrassing. He had 40 points. Speaking of 40 points, we've got the Red Sox Astros. We return to the scene of the crime. It is the Red Sox Astros, the Nationals, and the Marlins. Pablo Lopez, the pitcher, and the handicapper going in that one. And then speaking of Zach Wheeler, he shows his mug in Philly today against Blake Snell, a Cy Young contender fraud versus a Cy Young Award winner in this one. Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, and that Phillies Padres game, I like the over there because I really don't know what we're going to see from Blake Snell in his return. And Zach Wheeler hasn't been all that great for the Phillies this season.
Sucks. Just let's call it what it is. Wheeler sucks. He sucks, man.
I've said before, I can't tell what him and Aaron Nola are doing when they're trying to be the ace of that rotation and just not really pitching.
I'll tell you what they're doing. A hell of a lot of losing.
Okay. So, yeah, I'll go with the over 7.5 there. I think these offenses can push it over the number. I like the Houston Astros. I think this is still a reasonable price, and I'm not I'm not a Nick Pivetta fan by any stretch. He just, even with back-to-backs, decent outings, the Red Sox just keep finding ways to lose when he's on the mound. So give me the Houston Astros there, and I love the Miami Marlins today on the run line. I'm a Pablo Lopez guy. He's pitching absolutely out of his mind right now, and while Josiah Gray has been the Nationals' best chance to get a win here and there as of late, I don't think today's that day. I think the Miami Marlins get the win on the run line in that one.
Brian, how about
for
you?
me in this
how about you?
For me in this time slot, I have 2 premiums in this area, but the one game I can talk about, I like the Miami Marlins, but I'm going to lay 2.5 again, another alternate run line. I just think Pablo Lopez should have another shutdown performance, and then Josiah Gray. I kind of learned my lesson. I'm not saying I'm done backing him for the year, but at least for the time being, I think the Marlins can put up 4, 5, 6 runs today, if not more. I don't see the Marlins scoring too many, so I like the alternate run line minus 2.5 Marlins.
So James is asking about NBA props in the comments. We don't do them on the show because we have the betting tools. I mean, we have the best betting tools on the planet. Why we don't need to go over them? It's the betting tools show you all the player props. So if you go to sportschatplace.com, go to players, go to player props or player list, you will see just about everything that you need to see right then and there. So no reason for us to really waste time on this show. That's for sure. Anyways, my turn?
Yeah.
Josiah Gray is a joke. Teams are batting .380 the second time through the lineup against this guy, but actually last time out he didn't even make it to the second time through the lineup. He just got absolutely bombed by the first time through the lineup. He's a pitcher that could use some time in the minor leagues. He is not getting any confidence builders here at the major league level. He probably has a super high ceiling like they believe. Obviously the Nationals, when it comes to scouting young talent, they're one of the best at it. But this guy is a deer in the headlights, right now. And what they're doing there, I don't know if he'll ever regain his confidence. As for the Padres and the Phillies, I have to believe that Blake Snell is 100% healthy. I have to believe that in good conscience going into this game, that the Padres would not put Blake Snell out there if he wasn't healthy. And I think that he is here, and I think that he dominates. Zach Wheeler's terrible. And I think that Blake Snell, what we've seen from him in recent years is that he's good through 3 or 4 innings, and that's it. So it's all a matter of managing this guy if we start to see that same problems, from him. But
he's supposed to be on a limitation basis. I think only 65 pitches from him tonight.
Then that's what we'll see. But we know that Blake Snell, when he's on top of his game, is one of the best pitchers in baseball.
You know me, I argue for Wheeler. How can you say that about Blake Snell? If you look at his career numbers,
He's
and
a Cy Young
seems like he's
Award
always
winner.
hurt.
He's a Cy Young Award winner.
I mean, since he's gotten to the Padres, he hasn't really done much of anything.
Because he's been injured the entire time he's been there.
Wheeler had a rough start to the season, but he's recently come on. His last start was lackluster.
He's a disappointment.
Now, I don't know about that.
Chris, you ever have the "you're a disappointment" talk with anybody? I've had it. My mother used to tell me all the time. Tell me.
I had it this morning.
My mother constantly told me what a disappointment I was. Real inspiration.
Kick in the ass.
Yeah, she had all kinds of jobs lined up for me. Of course, the Phillies as home favorites, absolutely hideous. Love the Padres here. Phillies in the home favorite role. They have not gotten it done. They've just getting smashed as home favorites all season. So no reason to believe. In fact, the last 4 times they've been home favorites, crushed, reverse run lined. Anyways, we move on. Oh, gosh. Jordan Lyles against Garrett Cole at Baltimore. It's like they only wheel Cole out for, I think they only play him in Orioles games now because it bruises his confidence. But we got Orioles, Yankees, we got Mariners, Jays, and Mets against Cardinals. Brian, you got 3 lines that you just love here. You know, these are your guys. You got 3. You can lay minus 200 in 3 different scenarios here, or all of the above.
Well, I know certain guys are foaming at the mouth for that minus 1.5, but for me, these aren't my kind of games. But to make free pick selections, Jordan Lyles he's been hit or miss, and I think he's got the Orioles, they got a puncher's chance today. But I'm going to take him plus 1.5 here against Garrett Cole. Cole gave up a bunch of runs his last start. I think the Yankees are beatable. Toronto Blue Jays, though, I'm laying the 2.5 with Gausman. It's been phenomenal. I'm surprised he's done as well as he has with Toronto. And Gonzalez, he can get blown up at any time. Seattle hasn't looked good in this series. I think you take the Blue Jays minus the 2.5 here.
Chris Ruffalo.
Yeah, I was going back and forth on that Yankee game, and I think Baltimore does have a shot, but probably not a game I'm rushing to bet because that feels to me like the kind of game that maybe Jordan Lyles will get torched in. So maybe I'll stay away from that one. But I'm with Brian. I like the run line on Toronto here. As much as I like watching Marco Gonzalez pitch, he just hasn't been getting the support he needs to really get wins as of late. And Kevin Gausman, the not giving up a home run thing isn't going to last all season, but I think until it does, you got to keep riding him because he's pitching fantastic. And I'm also going to go with Max Scherzer and the Mets on the run line. Jordan Hicks, he's not pitching terribly. We're seeing the workload increase, but we're also seeing the runs the runs given up increase, and Hicks a 5.09 ERA as a starter this year. So I think the Mets could take that one on the run line 5-3 or something along those lines, but win it by a couple.
I think the Astros just hit another home run. Let's see. I hate this segment here. I think this is one where you because I don't see any way you can go against the Blue Jays here. I think you can lay alternate run lines or anything like that, but I think this is one that you can overlay in some parlays with some of your other bets, where you just take the minus 238, you stick it in a parlay with, some of your other plays that you have today, that ones that you're going to play anyway. I don't believe in locks. I think this is as close to one as there is. I think it's one of those. I think Max Scherzer has been getting hit this season. He doesn't seem to have the overpowering stuff that he's had in the past. And even though we know he has the crafty stuff, he still feels the need to challenge the batters just a little too much for my taste. But I don't see the Cardinals having much of a chance in this one against the Mets. I'm going to take the Mets here, and I bet against the Yankees all the time, so no reason not to give it a shot here with Cole at these prices. I think you could take the 1.5. I don't think it's going to help you. I don't think it's a one-run game either way. I think either the Orioles win or they lose 6-0. We go to our next set of games. and this is our final set of games for the day. We've got the Pirates and the Cubs. We've got the Rangers and the Angels, and the Royals and the White Sox. Chris?
Yeah, for this segment, I really like the Chicago Cubs. I know Drew Smiley, he hasn't been pitching, as well as he was to start the year, and he allowed 4 runs in his earlier start against the Pirates this season. But the Pirates have scored just 1 run in their last 3 games. They've been outscored 16-0 in the first 2 games of this series, and I don't expect that to get better with Mitch Keller on the mound here. I think this one's all Cubs, and I like that under between the Angels and Rangers. I think you got a pitcher's duel there, Dane Dunning and Shohei Ohtani. I think this is going to be a battle where you may want to take over on both both guys' strikeouts there. And I also like the over 8 in that White Sox and Royals matchup. Zach Greinke just not missing any bats this season, and Lucas Giolito is prone to give up a couple himself. So I think we get up over 8 and maybe into the 9-10 run range in that game.
Is Keller still listed for the Pirates? Because I don't see him now on my board.
Well, that's what I saw here. Let me check.
Well, while you're looking at it, the only game in that time frame that I really like is probably the Chicago White Sox, and I'm going to lay that. Usually, I'm not a minus 155 guy, but I think Lucas Giolito, strong horse on the mound, has had good numbers since coming back this season. Zach Greinke, I think he's getting up there. I think it'll only be downhill the rest of the season. The Royals are terrible, so I'll lay the 155 with the White Sox.
Yeah, I'm seeing TBD now for the Pirates. Maybe Keller got pulled.
Yeah, it might be an advantage for the Pirates.
Pulling a Keller.
But I mean, next in line would be if the rotation sort of continues, would be Zach Thompson. So maybe I would hold.
Ugh.
I don't know how.
I don't think it's going to be him. I don't think they'll move Thompson up in the rotation. I got a great idea. Why don't we move Thompson up in the rotation?
Could be a bullpen game too.
Or maybe there's some guy that they want to take a look at, that we don't know about. We can only hope. Anyways, I like the Cubs in that one if it's Keller. The Ohtani Dunning game is interesting. The Rangers run line plus the 1.5 here has been just straight money. I mean, the Rangers have been the best plus 1.5 team in the last week. So I'm not a plus 1.5 guy, but as long as Brian's not on it, I'm good with it.
How do you know that I'm not on that?
Oh, because
you don't know.
Once you touch it, it goes to crap. We all know that. you may not have heard your disappointment talk, but he's definitely heard everything you touch goes to crap.
When I was married, I used to hear that all the time. That's why, but not anymore.
Rangers minus 120 at plus 1.5 here, 9 in a row on the run line. This Dogs. Texas Rangers. Lock it in.
That's not much juice for like a play that's been hitting like that. So
exactly, it's called value, Brian. Because Texas Rangers not a very popular team. Not the Yankees. Don't have Shohei Ohtani. Saying you can go on and on and on, right? Anyways, I like the White Sox here. Really not about, like I said in the video. Oh, I didn't do the video. Jovan did. We both did the same video, so we posted his. But I don't know. I don't think it's really about the Zach Greinke or Giolito in this one. I think it's about a better team, and that's the Chicago White Sox. And the Royals coming off of a win, hideous as well. I don't know what's worse, the Phillies as home favorites or the Royals coming off of a win. 8-0. 0-8 on the run line following a win. So it's even worse because they've been dogs every game. And losses following a win 8 in a row for the Royals. So just bad news. You know what we call that one, Chris? You know what the technical term for that is? You're going to learn something here. Okay. Got your pen ready? Okay.
Yeah,
it's called no bueno. Okay, that's what we call that. No bueno.
Can I use that?
Sure. You can.
Okay.
You can say it on the drive-through. So you're not on the drive-through anymore. You're just a guest. What's your day?
I don't know. I haven't worked that out with Tony yet. It's still we're still healing.
He's got to squeeze you into the guest role.
Oh Lord, don't talk about squeezing me into anything. But yeah, we'll figure it out eventually.
We go to the NBA. Last night it was a statement by the Heat, but I think the Celtics are. They're not. Well, they might get swept, but they're. But
they're not getting swept.
Okay.
You're dreaming.
Well, normally the public and I think that sports betting and the stock market are in Bitcoin and all these things very, very similar to all one another. Real estate market, that the general public doesn't want to think about the bad things that could possibly happen, right? And they greatly underestimate, because of that, they greatly underestimate the probability that it will happen. And that's how you get Bo Brisky knocking off Clayton Kershaw at plus 300, right? Because it's like, how could that, it's a baseball game. That's how it happens. The very best teams lose 60 times. I know Mitch says it every single show, but I still don't believe it, right? It's like, trust me, it happens. When's the last time we saw a 120 game winner in Major League Baseball? Has there ever been one? 27 Yankees. What was the record of the 27 Yankees? I think they have the best record of all time. MLB.
Was it the Mariners? They had 118 or 116 wins.
116 and 36. The Chicago Cubs. Number 2, Seattle Mariners, 116 and 46, and the New York Yankees, 114 and 48. Cleveland Indians, 111 and 43. Chicago Cubs was 1906, and they lost the World Series that year. The Yankees this season is the highest win percentage since the 1906 Cubs. So far this season, the Yankees have the highest win percentage since then. 1909, Brian, your Pittsburgh Pirates, that was your year. The 09 Pirates. 2009? No, 1909. They won the World Series. They went 110 and 42. Those 09 Pirates.
Just imagine saying that in like a bar. It's like, yeah, did you ever watch the 09 Pirates, the ones that won 110 games? So, what, 2009? No, 1909.
So then the 2020 Los Angeles Dodgers went 43 and 17. So when you go by winning percentage, they are up there. They are 5th best of all time. The 2001 Mariners, 116 and 46, lost that ALCS. And then the team that is generally considered the benchmark of greatness, the 27 Yankees, 110 and 44. That was a brutal, brutal lineup. The best lineup in the history of baseball. Murderers Row. The number 9 hitter, the worst batter in the entire lineup of the 27 Yankees, batted .297. You know who that was, Chris? Mark Koenig. Mark Koenig. Okay. The only player on the 27 Yankees to not bat 300. The entire lineup batted over 300. Ruth had 60 homers. It's like, it was beat down. It's like, can you imagine? Like, that's like, I mean, you could look at all these other teams, but that's 27 Yankees, man.
I was almost going to guess Tony Lazzeri, but Mark Koenig makes sense.
Yep. 297. Just missed it. Crazy, right? Koenig. He still had a non-base. He still had the OPS, 382 slugging. I mean, he's a monster. Joe Dugan. Lou Gehrig batted .373 that year.
Jeez.
47 home runs, and he didn't even lead the team. It's like, this is just, what do you do, The Babe batted .356 with 60 bombs. It's like, the Babe.
Well, you used to live in New York. How many 27 Yankees games were you?
Good Lord.
I had the 27 Yankees. I rode them at -700. How about this for a season? Like we look at today's players. Look at this season, right? Look at this season. 60 home runs, batted .356, 165 RBIs. He had a 1.258 OPS. He struck out 89. He struck out 89 times, led the team in strikeouts. 137 walks on top of that. He still hit 60 home runs with 165 RBIs, and he had 89. He had 137 walks. Gehrig walked 109 times. It's like
Gehrig led that team in RBIs. Ruth wasn't even the team leader.
It's unbelievable.
175 RBIs in a season. That's 18 triples.
Unbelievable.
Talk about a dead ball era.
Man. Anyways, Wade Hoyt, 22 wins that season. Urban Shocker, 18-6 with a 2.84. I mean, the thing is, all their pitchers have sub-3 ERAs also on top of it. It's like craziness. All right. Go to the NBA. And we got the Warriors and the Mavericks. We started on this, but obviously the Mavericks have gone through the war, gone through the gauntlet. The Warriors went through a 7-gamer also. So neither of these teams really have gotten the rest like the Heat. We saw last night the home team, dominate, but they were also a well-rested home team. Chris, Steph Curry, been there, done that. How much does playoff experience factor into this one?
I think it matters in a fair bit. But, I mean, Luka Doncic has seemingly been playing with a chip on his shoulder that they've really been sort of counted out in, I'd say, in at least 2 of their series, if not all 3. I mean, they beat up on the Utah Jazz, and they got the series win there. I think nobody really had them going very far against the Phoenix Suns, and now look at where Dallas is, and it's sort of, again, been there, done that for Luka Doncic in terms of that. But I think this one's going to be a bit higher scoring than a lot of people would think. I know Golden State usually did their best defensive work at home for much of the year, even though it sort of tailed off near the end of the season. But I also think that Golden State's going to feed off that home crowd and hit some threes and really get us into a game that gets into the 220s and well over this total of 214.5. So I really like the over in this one.
Who's your favorite tough pronunciation guy of this one? Like, is there a tough pronunciation
of this
guy?
Series?
Yeah, this series. That the guy whose name is maybe a little bit more difficult to pronounce, and the others that you like to show off that you got this one.
Jeez. Can I go with Boban Marjanovic?
Sure. I think Brian, how do you feel about that one?
Oh, I couldn't pronounce that.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. What's his name again? Say it again.
Boban Marjanovic.
All right. Thanks. Yeah.
Or
him.
Or Frank Ntilikina for the point guard for that came over from the Knicks.
All right. I'm good. Brian, what do you think of this one?
I'm the opposite of you, Ruflo. I'm going to go with the under. Maybe I'm an under guy, and I know that I think 14 out of the last 20 meetings between these two teams have gone over, I think, off the top of my head. But when the Mavericks play their best basketball, they've turned up the defense. That's how they beat the Suns, holding them down. Dallas needs to steal one game at Golden State. They're really good at home. So I think the defense gets turned up in this. I think 213.5 is just a tad too high. I think should stay under 210. So I'm going to take the under.
I got to say, it's weird. I agree with Brian here. I like the under as well. Dallas, these playoff games for Dallas have been very, very much under games, and the Warriors too. A lot of unders for them. I think this one's going to stay under. I think Dallas knows their only chance that they have of beating these guys is keeping it low scoring and tight. That's how you win playoff games on the road. You keep the game close. You give yourself a chance to win at the end, unless, of course, you blow them out in the second quarter like we saw Dallas do to the Phoenix Suns. Those are few and far between, but I think, after the Squares got crushed last night, dipping their toe in the water on the under, I think they're going to be back onto, their warm, fuzzy, comfy spot, which is the over. Why do the Squares love the over? Because once it's over, it's over. There's no chance of it coming back under once it's already gone over, right? That's why the Squares love the over.
No,
right?
Because it's more fun to root for points to be scored. That's
no,
why
it's not. It's because once it's over, you can't lose.
That's true.
That's why.
I think both.
I think I'm 99% sure. We should ask everybody here. If you're a Square, let us know. If you like the over, because once it's over, it's over.
I can ask. I know a few. I can ask.
Where's Al Ninos? Al loves the over. He loves a favorite.
He doesn't do totals, I don't believe.
No, he's not a total guy. He did have the Celtics though last night. But he's at it. I mean, he's on the leaderboard, I think, of every sport. So he does pick a lot of favorites, but he picks his spots, right? So he's been picking his spots extremely well. I think a lot of people like the over because once it's over, it's over. It's kind of like the same reason people like the nerfy and the yerfy. Once it's done, it's done. It's like you don't have to sit there and sweat it out. When Mark Melancon is warming up in the bullpen.
I'll tell you what, the under, you're sweating out every last second.
Oh, always sweating it out. But the under is the under. We love the under, right? Yeah, I think this one goes under. Anyways, any parlays, player props, any of that stuff?
Yeah, if I got a parlay, I'm going to take the under 213.5. I'm going to team it up with the Toronto Blue Jays at -2.5 alternate line. And then I'm going to round it out with Milwaukee Brewers on the money line.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with the Houston Astros on the money line, the over 8 between the Guardians and Reds, and the Chicago Cubs on the money line.
Diamondbacks first 5 plus a half a run. I'm going to parlay that up with the San Diego Padres, and I'm going to put that with the Blue Jays, which is just an overlay today. And that's going to be my parlay. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. It was fun. It was a good time. Appreciate each and every one of you. We have our YouTube Premium, which I did not put the tape up in the bottom. I just forget. We need to like watch some of these other shows, where they just promo. It's just all promos. It's like terrible. I'll just pause while our promo runs across the bottom of the screen. Chris, what are you going to have for lunch today? All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And of course, be sure to check out all of our free picks, all of our premium picks. Use that discount code May15, get 15% off. Thanks to everyone. Smash that like.